Good to go. Here we go. Shout out to Evo Nexus for letting us use the space. We're all going to pause in the glass fishbowl over there. Of course, UCI is one of our sponsors. And lastly, the coffee that you've been enjoying at the back, Starbucks, and if you ever want to help carry the coffee from that side to this side, Tristan always needs little volunteers to help with that. Oh, I must have hit the make the sound button by accident. Operator error. This is pretty neat where I can just change the slides real quick. I don't have to fumble with the USB and go up to the keyboard and move things. It's kind of nice. So our next presenter, I didn't know whether Paul or Elena was doing it. Well, Paul's going to present. So welcome Paul to talk about XpressRX.
Good morning, everyone. So, I'm the founder of XpressRX. XpressRX is a healthcare platform solution for the entire supply chain, utilizing AI and blockchain. And the supply chain consists of the entire healthcare sector: pharmacies, doctors, manufacturers, wholesalers.
Can you hear it back here?
No, you didn't.
Can you use the mic, please? Yeah, thank you.
So can I get a... Hello? Oh, much better. Can I get a hand in the air? How many people here have gone to the pharmacy and had a problem with some type of prescription, whether it was not covered, the pharmacy didn't have it? Can I just get a raise of hand? How many people had that problem?
Oh, raise them high. What is also?
I'm sure everyone had some kind of experience when they come to the pharmacy and there's a problem with your prescription, whether it's not covered, the pharmacy doesn't have it, or it's not covered by your plan. I'm sure everyone had some kind of experience. And that's because of the data flow.
Hold the microphone close. I know it's, so we have, it's really cool microphones, but you have to talk into them. Like, if
Got it.
you're down here, it doesn't work.
Okay. So XpressRX is gonna solve all these issues. Now imagine a system. How do we change the slides, by the way?
Button down.
Which one? Does it matter which one?
Green one.
I'm colorblind, so I'm with this one.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Are we starting at 6 minutes again? Forgot.
So let me give you a little background first about myself. So I used to own an independent retail pharmacy for 15 plus years. So I've seen every problem that people experience, whether it be patients come into my pharmacy, they don't know what insurance they have, they don't know if the prescription is covered, they don't know where the prescription is, we don't have it in stock. So there's numerous of problems, and those problems are stemmed from the data. It's because pharmacies, instead of operating as pharmacies and helping patients, we're trying to decode the data. So this video is going to show a summary of how the problems are going to be solved. What, it's not playing?
Why don't you copy paste it into a browser?
Oh,
Oh, we
Is the video critical to the presentation?
Yeah, it's very clear, yeah.
well, there's no
Because we tested
internet.
yesterday, it's working fine.
Would you be able to help with
Okay.
getting that video played?
So while they're setting up the video, I'll explain the video real quick. So now imagine these are the problems I laid out, right? You come to the pharmacy, you don't know where the prescription is, you don't know if it's covered, so there could be a million different issues. So what XpressRX will do is going to simplify all that. By the doctor now, when you come to the doctor will know all your history real time, he will know what's covered. Real-time formulary is 50% of the problems of healthcare, and that's because it creates a disruption in workflow. When you come to the doctor, he writes your prescription. When he's writing that prescription for your therapy, he does not know what's covered on your plan, nor does he know if you have other therapies from different doctor. That creates a major disruption in workflow. So when the patient comes to the pharmacy, We're trying to decode the information first as opposed to spending our time treating the patients and advising them how to take the medications. Because the data in healthcare, data is spread out in multiple different sectors. And as a pharmacy, our job is to collect the data from everyone, analyze it. But we're spending too much time doing that, and that's where the quality of healthcare is getting a little bit worse and worse. But now imagine a system where you come to the doctor, he knows what's covered, how much it costs, which pharmacy has it, do you want it delivered to your home, kind of like Uber, Postmates, you know. So it creates workflow. Oh, here we go.
Vova, when is my next appointment?
Thank you.
Mr. Z is 30 minutes away. Doctor, patient Z just checked in.
Hi, Mr. Z. How are you feeling today?
Have bad allergies.
Vova, what's covered for allergies?
Generic Zyrtec has $10 copay. Generic Claritin has no copay.
Vova, create prescription for Mr. Z. Claritin, 10 milligrams once a day. Number 13 with 3 refills.
Which pharmacy? Closest pharmacy to my home. Found 3 close pharmacies near your home, including your preferred Pharmacy Z. Pharmacy Z.
Vova, send prescription to Pharmacy Z.
Prescription sent. Prescription received by Pharmacy Z. Sends alert to Pharmacy Z that patient is 30 minutes away. Doctor, your next appointment with Mr. M is 10 minutes away.
Vova, schedule appointment with Mr. Z in 30 days.
Schedule it.
Ensuring best outcomes, Gaseous generators, innovating simple health energy.
So as you can see, well, first of all, the reason why it's called Vova, I want to give a little background. It was named after my dad, who passed away 6 years ago because he had cancer. And I dedicated myself to, no family should go through kind of through what we went to. So it took my dad, it took us 8 weeks to find treatment. And that's because the system, the healthcare, the data, right, specialty medication, cancer medications, they could take up to 6 to 8 weeks to get approved from the insurance companies. Because they're going to take that much time for the insurance companies to collect the data to either approve the drug or to deny it. I've narrowed it down to almost 24 hours. But my goal is to do it in real time. As AI expands, eventually, insurance will be able to prove it in real time. And it's named Vova because it's named after my dad. So as you guys can see here, I have a prototype. So the prototype, so this is my vision. The doctors, pharmacies, people at home, it's kind of like Alexa for healthcare. You know, you could be sitting at home and be like, it will also remind you, be like, okay, Paul, it's 10 o'clock, it's time to take your medication. It's going to remind you when you're running out of medications. Then the majority of the problems as a pharmacy owner I've noticed is patients always call me when there's no medications left and they need their blood pressure medication, their cholesterol. But it takes time to get that data. We have to call the doctor, we have to get an approval. So this system is going to be all real-time workflow. It will remind you how many pills you have left. It will call the doctor for you. So you'll be like, it will ask you, Paul, do you want to refill your medication? Yes, and that's it. And then you're going to ask, do you want to pick it up or do you want to deliver it? Oh, it's time. So
That is time.
Okay.
So what's wonderful about the Million Cups is this is like a, you get out of jail free card.
Gotcha.
We're not investors.
Gotcha.
We're not,
It's practice.
it's absolute practice.
6 minutes is impossible to explain.
Right, 6 minutes. You've got the technology. Give it up for Paul.
Can we get what
So,
Paul's
yeah,
asks are?
that's exactly. Do you have the ask slide?
Yes. Question?
The questions that you need help with. So feedback, presentation, what do you think about the idea, the Vova prototype? Do you think people would pay monthly subscription for the convenience of managing their healthcare? And so, again, how do we help Paul and Elena go forward with this business in the best way? And we'll go from that. So we got 6 minutes, have a discussion.
Yes. It's gonna look something like this. It's developing right now, but it's gonna be like a cube, projector cube. It's gonna have voice activation, and that's actually, we're looking for strategic partners to do voice activation. I'm looking for a company that can take my platform and make it voice activated. So the goal is no more computers in the healthcare industry. It'll be like a little cube.
All right, with that, you get 6 minutes and have a discussion, then we'll open it up for Q&A. Okay, let's bring it in. We'll bring them all up for questions. I'm sure there'll be lots of questions. Pardon?
I do want to just say something before you guys get to the questions. So I recently signed a pilot agreement with an MSO. So we're starting in January with 20,000 patients, 20 pharmacies. So we're going to have real-time data, and we're going to prove that the key point is that whatever the doctor prescribes treatment, that's what the patient gets. Right now it's 50%, it's not. Meaning that whatever doctor writes your prescription, 50% of the time is being changed to something else. I'm going to prove that whatever the doctor gives you, you're going to get. And once we get that data within the first 3 to 6 months, we go to legislation, and I've already been lobbying. I've been lobbying for 10 plus years, so I've already planted all the seeds for this. Once I prove those data points, I go back to legislation, and this is going to become a requirement.
All right, with that,
Yes.
start with the questions.
Hi, I just want to ask a real simple question. So I can buy that the process associated with getting prescription medications is a hassle. I can buy that. What exactly, in real simple terms, does your service do better than what's currently out there for getting prescription medication?
Okay, so like I mentioned in the video, when you come to the doctor, he will know what's covered on your plan right away. That eliminates 50% of healthcare issues. So right now when you come to the doctor and he writes you a prescription, he has no idea what's on your formulary. So when you come to the pharmacy, and when they process the insurance, that creates problems, right? We don't know, what if you went to a different doctor? What if you went to 2 different doctors? What if you went to 5 different pharmacies? So this technology is going to solve the opioid epidemic. Here's an example. You can go to right now to 20 different doctors, 20 different pharmacies, complain about back problems, and doctors might give you 20 pills of Vicodin. But you can go to 20 doctors, 20 pharmacies, collect thousands of pills and overdose. My system won't allow that. I'm connected right now to the DOJ, the cure system. So when a doctor tries to prescribe you Vicodin, he'll tell him real time, you can't give him Vicodin. He got it yesterday from a different doctor, or he got it at this pharmacy. So I'm eliminating all the issues before they arise with assistance of AI.
Over here with Max.
Hey.
Hey.
Great. I love your enthusiasm for the problem. Like it's clear. It comes
It's
up.
personal.
No, it's great. You know, I keyed in on one thing you said just at the end of talking about government regulation, then it becoming a requirement. And from maybe an investor or even a customer standpoint, my kind of immediate reaction to that is, or it doesn't. And like that really black and white, it either works or doesn't, is from just a customer perspective on what I pay a subscription is really fear-inducing, because it means that, hey, maybe I'm going to put my faith in this company and it's just going to disappear. And I put time and effort into something that has no longevity. So just from, would I be willing to put my money into a company that has that really binary, it either works or doesn't? It induces fear in me. And so maybe selling it as more of like, hey, if this happens, we're skyrocketing to the moon, and that's awesome. Everybody here would be really happy for you. But if that doesn't happen, knowing that the company can survive and that there still is an actionable plan would reduce that fear a lot, both from a customer and from an investor perspective on protecting their cash.
Thank you for your question. I've heard this concern before, so I want to clarify. Regardless of legislation, the system is already operational, meaning that I've already showed this. Like I'm starting with the helpline in January. There's another helpline that wants it. So regardless of the legislation, the company's going to generate money because there's a demand for this technology. Right now, just to give you an example, when a pharmacy, for example, when they bill insurance companies, they're billing in the blind. Like when I bill your prescription, your data to the insurance, they don't see the prescription, they just blindly, they're saying, okay, here's your name, here's the medication. That creates fraud, waste, and abuse. And that's a big part of it. So the system will eliminate that. So from your perspective, legislation would have no effect on the system. That's just like extra, it's kind of like a bonus. But regardless of legislation, the system is gonna operate because there's demand from these health plans who want this system for themselves. I don't know if that answers your question. I went off topic.
That's all right. Next question's over here.
Yes.
Okay, so based on my understanding, it's coming to two parts. One is patient part and one is the doctor part, right?
And the pharmacy.
And
The pharmacy, yes.
right? So the pharmacy is the one that is connecting the doctor's prescriptions to the patients and just making sure that everything is going through the system correct.
Let me clarify. So my customers are not the doctors or pharmacists. My customers are the health plans, the MSOs, the IPAs, the PBMs, because they're the ones who control your data. So they give me the data right now. Perfect example. You can go to one doctor, it's not in your network. You don't know how much the copayment is. My system will tell you before any doctor you go to, this doctor's a new doctor. Your copayment will be $30. If you go to this doctor, it'll be $50.
Okay. So why you don't make it as a software instead of a technology in two different parts of the software that we add it to our phone, and me as a patient, add that software, and I'm looking at it and say, hey, this doctor is that in my system or not, or how much is my copayment? So now I get used to with your system. If I want to get more information, X or Y, Z, then I pay, then I go through it. So it's just kind of a step, maybe a step toward what is your plan. The other way is could be also to give it to the doctors, something similar. So and doctor asking their system that what's going on the patient, and if they can connect, then it's going
Thank
to
you. And let me clarify that. So the cube is only going to be for healthcare professionals, for doctors, pharmacies, insurances, labs. What the patient is going to have are the watch. That's what I'm working on right now. The watch, if you're going to wear a watch, it's going to tell you everything, like an Apple Watch. That's going to tell you your records. So instead of an app, it'll be kind of a watch, it's more convenient. So the app will connect to the watch. Does that make sense?
Yes, I just more look like that. You need to be connected to the Apple Watch, not the Apple Watch, because they're already there. I'm using Apple Watch, or I'm using the...
Yes,
so
but your data just sits there. The doctors know about it. So data just sits there, right?
All right, back here with Eileen.
Hi, Paul.
Hi.
We talked a little bit about the cube also, and first of all, when you said the watch, I don't want a separate watch for medical. I wear an Apple Watch, and so if you make an app that integrates with my watch, that's
It's
great.
actually an Apple Watch.
It is an Apple Watch?
It's an Apple Watch.
Yeah.
When I work in the program, it's an Apple Watch. It's actually Apple Watch.
So you say
It's my software. It just connected
Oh,
to
it's
the
the
Apple
app.
Watch. Yeah,
It's an
software.
app. It's an
still-
app.
it's
That's
an
what
app.
we're saying.
Yeah,
Don't make
it's-
the hardware,
it's
just make
it's
an app.
any watch. It could be
Right.
Samsung. It's just my software.
Okay, it sounded like you were gonna make
No,
your
no, no, I'm not
own
making my
watch.
watch. No,
Nobody
no.
wants your watch. So.
I'm gonna pull your data from the watch and give it to the doctors and the pharmacists.
But I personally also would want it to be an app on phone, tablet, because while you're doing the whole voice activation, which is great, visual is really important with a lot of things too, especially if I'm going to make decisions from one doctor to another, is I need to think more than just hear it out loud. So then, and that dovetails to the device in the office, is that when on the video you had the doctor ask the device, tell me the prescriptions that are approved under patient Z's plan. Well, doctors don't want that all said out loud to the patient, because there could be like 10 different drugs that are approved for that, right? And the doctor has to make a decision based on a lot of different factors. You know, is it short-term problem, long-term problem, what are the side effects, and so forth. So they want to look at all those drugs and make a decision and tell the patient, this is what we recommend, as opposed to debating 10 drugs with the patient.
Thank you. Let me clarify that. So the system is drugs are broken into classes. So for example, so you have blood pressure, beta blockers. There's only 4 blood pressure medications in that section. So the doctor has to pick one out of the 4. the system's gonna tell them which of the 4 are covered.
Right, what I'm saying is that instead having an interface with a screen, whether it be a tablet or one of the gentlemen recommended, like a big screen that is not facing the patient, that the doctor can look at and make those decisions.
Oh, got
You
it.
know, not having to have everything listed for the patient to be thinking about, you know. Because it's the doctor's job to guide us to what is the best choice for us. And the internet is a terrible thing that too many people think about drugs they shouldn't be taking, so.
So we have the website, all the interfaces, so when we're launching the pilot in January with the health plans, the doctors, they're gonna use the website. The voice integration, that's something maybe in the future, maybe next year I wanna do.
Right,
But I wanna
but
start first.
having it that it works with both so that the doctors can tailor it to work better in their practice, not just talk always out loud.
Thank you.
So we're right at 9 o'clock. You want one more question? Was the last question over here?
I don't know if you actually did some research on this company called Ford. Ford?
Ford?
They're also in the same industry and with the same monthly subscription,
Okay.
but they actually take care of everything with an app. And you can meet your doctor by just checking in, and also they carry all the drugs within their locations.
What do you mean? One more time.
So all the drugs that
So
they...
the point is that there's another competitor out there, and he's asking, so as a presentation, he's going, hey, what about this competitor?
I'll check them out.
So that's it.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much, thank you.
So with that, thank you very much. So as you can see, 1 Million Cups is a great place where you get to practice with your ideas. You see, the thing to take away is listen to the questions that the audience asks. And are the questions going to communicate something, or did they ask a question that I just said? So I have on that, I have a sort of a general question for the audience. When you see, for those of you who've seen many presentations, when there's a video in it, does the video really help the presentation? No. So one depends. Anybody else that says it depends?
No, I say yes.
Yes, you say yes? So show of hands, how many people like the video in a presentation?
Raise your hand.
Raise your high so we can, so the presenters can see. Okay? How many people say, no, I don't like the video? 50-50. Okay? One thing for thinking. Depends on your style. Is your style. If you're very passionate about something, you have that minute of presentation to be passionate and talk about it. If you're not comfortable being passionate, maybe you're using a crutch to have a video instead. So think about your audience and your dynamics and choose and do the entrepreneurial thing. Do an A/B test. Does everybody know what an A/B test? Test with half the people without a video and half the people with a video and see what the response is. So with that, we have this room until 10 o'clock? 9:30? 9:30 today. So network, be very courteous and help with what, Kristen?
I've got a very quick announcement, and I do apologize for keeping you guys late. Unfortunately, we are trying to get you guys over to the new Applied Innovation UCI Deal Center building one time. You can see the facility, and it's super flash. Guess what? It's also now super expensive. We will not be there in the new year. We were originally projected to be there today. Thank you very much to Bob and EvoNexus for taking us more or less at the last minute, because I got an email on Monday saying, hey, we've got a paying customer, you guys can't beat it. So, we are trying to get you guys over there. They've been a fabulous host for us, and we want for you to see the new facility. Unfortunately, that will not be our normal home or location going forward next year. Check your email. Location is in location will all be announced by email over the next 2 weeks between now and the winter holidays. Thank you very much.
So with that, give it up for Paul.